Hi guys, as I keep saying, ignore the politicians and listen to the experts. So I want to show you two clips, one from 2016 and another from about 1 month ago. Both feature a man called Allan Lichtman, a professor based in Washington, D.C., who has built a model to predict who will win the White House. And it has been right for every election over the last 40 years. Even the ones that were on a knife edge like the 2000 one, which eventually went to George W. Bush. So first we will have a look at the interview he gave to Fox News back in 2016 and then listen to his prediction for the election in just a few weeks' time.
44 days, get out your abacus, 2 months away from Election Day, and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are neck and neck in the national polls. But that hasn't stopped one man from predicting that Trump is heading towards a big win in November. Allan Lichtman, a professor of history at the American University and author of Predicting the Next President. He's correctly predicted the outcomes of the last 8 presidential elections, and he joins us now. Allan, nice to see you this morning. So you don't care about the polls that everyone else gets caught up in. You're looking at history for indicators. What do you see?
Well, my system is 13 true-false questions where an answer of true always favors the re-election of the party in power. It's based on the retrospective study of every election from the election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860 to Ronald Reagan in 1980, and it's based on the theory that elections are primarily referenda on the party holding the White House. So I look at the big picture, the economy,
right,
foreign policy, third parties, and the way it works, if the party in power has 6 of these 13 going against it, that's the Democrats now, they're predicted losers, and by my system, the Democrats have 6 negative factors against them.
Wow, here are the negative ones. Incumbent party mandate, nomination contest, so obviously Hillary Clinton had to fight Bernie Sanders, a third-party challenge, Jill Stein maybe taking some of the votes away from her, policy change, foreign military success, that's been a problem for her, and the incumbent charisma also. Now, what about some false keys for Hillary? Let's talk about the incumbent party mandate. Why is that a problem for her?
Well, that's the midterm elections, kind of a referendum on the party holding the White House, and the Democrats got wiped out in 2014. It's not her. Remember, we're talking about a referendum on the performance and strength of the party holding the White House. It doesn't necessarily turn on the individual candidates. And of course, in Donald Trump, you have such a precedent-breaking candidate.
Right.
You know, he said so many things that would drive other candidates out of the race that maybe he'll break the pattern of history and snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, despite my system.
Key number.
Your system was perfect. Your system predicted Donald Trump would win, and he did win. And, you know, the polls were in the opposite direction. The polls were predicting that Hillary Clinton would win in 2016, and they were wrong. And Allan was right. Now, this is what Allan has been saying over the last number of years, and this is a clip from about a month ago, what he had to say about the election in just a few weeks' time.
Right.
That's correct.
Key number 13, uncharismatic challenger.
Yeah, I get a lot of flack for this because, oh, clearly Trump is charismatic. Well, people may think that. Some people think he's, a god, but that's not the definition of the key. You have to be the once-in-a-generation, broadly inspirational candidate cutting across partisan lines. Clearly, while Trump is a great showman, he appeals only to a narrow base, and therefore, whatever you may think of him, he doesn't fit the criteria of the keys. His approval rating as president on average after 4 years was 41%, his base, one of the lowest approval ratings historically of any president. He lost the popular vote in 2 elections by a combined 10 million votes. So whatever you may think of Trump, he doesn't fit the criteria of the keys, and that one is blue.
That means, Dad, that Harris, according to you, according to the 13 keys of the White House, is headed for a win in 2024.
That's correct, no matter what happens with the very hard-to-call foreign policy keys.
So he's left out 2 keys, but this means that Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States. Now, once again, I keep saying, listen to the experts, not to the politicians. And the politicians are saying it's on a knife edge. The polling is going in the direction of Donald Trump. But according to a guy who has been right since 1984, I believe, for every election, he's saying, look, according to my model, and my model has always been right, Kamala Harris will be the next president, which gives us, I hope, a bit of hope. You know, it should dampen a lot of people's fears. Look, it's not a guarantee. Something could happen that could change all of this. It's highly unlikely, but you know, there's just a few weeks left, and the election isn't beginning in November. It's already begun, and a lot of people have already voted. So I think this, you know, his model also takes into account for that. And it's like what I've been saying about general elections in other countries as well. For example, it's a referendum on the incumbent. That's what it is fundamentally. Are people happy with the current state of affairs? When we look at the general election recently with the Conservatives were trying to say, look, we need to put somebody like Boris Johnson in charge, or we need to focus on immigration or something like that. In reality, it was a decision that the public made. Are they happy with the current party? Are they happy with the current situation? And they said no. So this is something that Labour need to think about when the next election comes around. They have to improve the situation for ordinary people. People going to the election need to feel that things have improved. In general, you can try and focus on specifics, but in general, people need to feel that things have got better. And if they do feel that, then they're more likely to vote for the Labour Party again. So according to this model, and once again, the added caveat that, you know, nothing is set in stone, nothing is guaranteed. It's possible that this model could be broken for the very first time. But according to this model, Kamala Harris wins pretty easily. There are a few points against her, but it's mainly in her favor. So let's hope and keep fingers crossed that actually is the case. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.